Hello, it's Alistair Curry here for CPD On Demand. Today we're talking to Richard Harper, responsible for business development and marketing at APE Pumps and Mather & Platt. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, Alistair. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, thanks so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Your company has such a proud history. As I understand it, last year you celebrated your 65th anniversary.
Yes, that's correct. Last year was a major milestone for the company. Celebrating, 65th year. This year we're going to our 66th year of operation as an original manufacturer. The company started in 1952 out as Sangas.
Yes.
And from then the company has developed along the road
Right.
to where we are today. It's seen a lot of changes. It's gone through a lot. And to where we are, and now we've actually where we are. We're a proud company with individuals working in the company who are pride and passionate about working for the company.
Right.
By what we are and what we offer the clients. So this year, celebrating our 66th year, is it's a great milestone for the company.
Right.
It really is.
Okay. And if we wind back the clock even further to the late 1800s, the Industrial Revolution, where were we with pumps? It was the steam age.
Well, obviously it was the steam age.
Yes.
Horse-driven, coal-driven. It's obviously the changes were going.
Yes.
And it shows you where we are.
Right.
To where we are from then to where we are today.
Yes.
To actually show. Whereas now we've gone from the Industrial Revolution, from when the steam train was being invented by with the rocket by James Watt, George Stephenson.
Exactly.
So to where we are to now in the fourth Industrial Revolution, utilising the latest technology, the advancements in that technology, to actually benefit the company to support. So we can give a better support service to the client and enhance our products to the client. So the 66 year, is a great. It's a great milestone for the company.
Yes.
The same for APE and the same for Mather & Platt as well, because Mather & Platt, is also celebrating its 66 year as well, operating in South Africa, whereas they're actually a global in the UK previously, since 1860s,
right
70s, right back to the beginning,
So Richard, what hasn't changed since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution? Are some of the principles still
the
retained?
basic principles are always there.
Yes.
Once the wheel has been invented, you can't reinvent the wheel.
Of course.
If it's not broken, you don't fix it.
Right.
If we take pride and we're passionate about what we give to our client.
Yes.
We take a vested interest in what we give to the client.
Right.
So theoretically, the systems are still there. It's not going to redesign itself. There are changes that are made to enhance, different materials that are used in the product.
Yes.
But it all comes down to the client's requirements. We take, pride in what we give to the client in the product to support them, to make sure the client, the end user, gets the benefit from our 66 year history as an original manufacturer in precision engineering. We're specialists in fluid movement management. That's what we do. It's fluid movement management.
Yes.
And it can be from our main sources of industry, the mining institutions, the water authorities, power generation utilities, petrochemical plants. So we've got an adverse effect of where we go, who we go and see, and the services what we provide.
Right.
So it's providing, and that comes from our 66 year experience, which is what we give to the client. Right. Because obviously we're doing it right. We look internally as a company.
Right.
We've got a great team working here.
Yes.
Because it's the people. The people are passionate about working for the company.
Right.
They take pride, and that's from everybody associated in the company. That's and individuals. When the pumps go out, they go to the client. They're operational. Everybody's interested, talking. How's that going? How's that going? So but as I say, that's improving because we're utilising the fourth industrial revolution.
Right.
You know, we've got 500,000 engineering drawings on our system. Those are now being converted into 3D format.
Okay.
So that's an advantage what we're giving to the clients, and also as well in the pump selection process. So that is, you know, some of the requirements and the benefits we're giving to the certain clients, where they can actually go into the design and have a look. You know, right, this is what the requirements, what we need. These are the heads, our flows. This is what we need to do. This is how we need. This is what we want to move, and so utilising the fourth industrial revolution is making it. It's giving a new advantage, you know, to us as a company, as APE, as Mather and Platt.
All right, and 500,000 drawings. It sounds like a very big number. How did you get to that figure?
Well, obviously it started from
over time.
Obviously over time, started from 1952.
Okay.
You know, and obviously, you know, as you stated earlier, you know, how has things changed?
Yes.
Well, you know, that's one specific area that we can actually look.
Yes.
Because that used to be done by hand, you know, with the skilled draftsman.
Yes.
Actually drawing physically on hand, on you know, on the drawing board.
Right.
To now the individual doing it on AutoCAD, you know, and it's on, you know, into Volt, you know, by actually drawing. And you could the time the computer systems there, so that's one of the greater changes what's happened, you know.
But I think we're going to visit your pattern shop just
Absolutely.
now. But I'd like to talk about the pattern shop now, and also about drafting, because you employ professional draftsmen. You have one of the industry's leading pattern shops. So that implies that although the modern technologies are fantastic, you have to understand and embrace the original techniques.
The individuals have got to understand the basic principles.
Yes.
They need to have an understanding of exactly, you know, and to be able to understand the process during manufacture.
Right.
So, you know, and because everybody along that process plays an extremely important part, they make a great contribution to the end result, because from day one to when it's completed, supplying that to the client, the product, and that's because everybody's committed.
Yes.
Now, obviously, referring back to the pattern shop, you know, we proudly as APE Pumps are probably, you know, we are the only pump company in South Africa where we actually train pattern makers in the pump field industry. You know, our competitors, they don't train pattern makers. You know, and we're actually approved to actually give pattern makers an apprenticeship and give that individual, you know, the ability to go into the working world, into the working environment, to actually have a trade behind them, but more specifically in the pump industry, which is absolutely invalid, you know, because the skill, what the actual craftsmen do in our pattern shop, and every time I go there, you know, I see what the guys do, and I'm amazed.
Yes.
You know, the way they work. You know, they start off, you know, from the design, they build up the mould. You know, they build up the pattern, and then obviously then it gets turned around through the process, and then we get goes into the core box, sent out. We receive the casting, and to actually see the individual working on the pattern in the pattern shop, making the fine, you know, the fine, you know, detailed changes, because everything, we're working in precision engineering. Everything is to specifics. It's designed to the client's requirements, to standard. So everything needs to be done accurately, and it needs to be done correctly. So when we follow the process, and then when you see the pattern come, you know, you've got the casting from the pattern, and then you just look and you can see the you know, just exactly the effort and just what's involved by the individual. So as I say, so it's our individuals that, you know, they take passion in what they're doing, you know, in the way they work, the moulds, and it's good for us, you know. To see the individuals, and as I say, we're the only pump company in South Africa that's approved and that trains pattern makers in the pump industry.
And it is an ancient art.
Absolutely.
An ancient art that hasn't gone out of date. But what happens with other companies that don't have a pattern making shop? Are they relying purely on CAD?
Yeah, they specifically on CAD,
Right.
and then it go. You know, they do it through their system. You know, obviously each and every individual company works to their original day of operation.
Yes.
You know, people do things differently. You know, we do what we do, which suits us. Utilising the latest technology to our advantage.
Yes.
Utilising what is available, how we can utilise it, what we can utilise to give the client what the client wants.
Of course.
You know,
And
so,
what about situations where I've lost my drawing and my pump is even 80 years old? I mean, is there a solution there?
well, absolutely. Well, if your pump's 80 years old, unfortunately, we can't help you.
Okay.
We've only been going 66 years.
All right.
But we will do everything to support you, to help. We will actually come and give you and get the requirements, and we'll give you a new product.
Okay.
We can do that. But basically, what happens, you know, as I said, you know, we've got 500,000 engineering drawings on our system.
Yes.
You know, so we all those drawings have, you know, as I say, have been converted into, you know, of our CAD. You know, in a 3D format. Now, we would look and we will be able to help. We're having clients, because of the quality product, what we supply, we're having clients 30, 40 years coming up and saying, and the systems are operational.
Right.
You know, so long as the maintenance crew are doing the correct maintenance to our recommendations, and the maintenance, the changing, you know, with the spare parts, and the systems are operational.
Fantastic.
There's a situation when I was actually walking around with my managing director, you know, Mr. Peter Robinson, and we were walking around in Blantyre, and we were actually walking at you know one of the treatment plants in Blantyre for one of the water authorities, and we were walking around, and there was a model of 68 and 69, and I said to Peter is, you know, I've not seen this model before. He says, no, Richard, that's the year of manufacture.
Okay.
So it shows you
Yes.
what we've actually done and what we've actually supplied.
Okay.
You know.
And have you been working with the Blantyre Water Board?
What we've actually done with Blantyre Water Board,
okay.
we've actually now completed major turnkey project works with Blantyre Water Board, because what we've actually done is we as a company, as you say, you know, we've utilised the fourth industrial revolution, but we're actually going now and doing complete turnkey projects.
Okay.
So we take complete ownership of the installation works, the rehabilitation works, the renewal works, because we want to do, you know, we want to do the mechanical installations, the electrical installations, the civil installations, because we take ownership. So we're operating a build, operate and maintain system for the client.
Okay.
We want the client to have the best service what we can give. You know, so in Blantyre, you know, we did major works in Blantyre. We put in, you know, it was 10 5,000 kV transformers. Okay. You know, we dropped in 52 kilometres of cable. Now the cable was coming in from 11 kV. We were dropping down to 3.3 kV, putting all the switchgear, the panels, soft starters, going into 1650 and 1825 kilowatt motors onto the multi-stage high lift pumps. So we were actually working at Walker's Ferry, and then we were in Blantyre, which was the water treatment plant for Blantyre Water Board in Malawi. And we were then pumping it 26 kilometres from Walker's Ferry after the pumping statement, the pumping station, and then sending it through to Chileka, which was a pumping station, which then sent it 13 kilometres into Blantyre to distribute. Now the reason that, you know, these projects were sponsored by the World Bank and the European Union, the European Investment Bank, and these projects we were involved with. Now the complications were we had to maintain supply to the city. So it wasn't a case of, you know, take everything out, rebuild. We had to take out, put in, take out, put in, because the surgeons needed to operate in Blantyre. People needed water, and obviously one of the reasons for the project works in Blantyre was because of the population. So the population originally, the original system was designed for a population of 400,000 people. The current statistics coming from the government in Malawi was stating that the population is now over 900,000. Okay. So obviously that's the hence for the increasement of supply, a greater demand, and that's where we come in. We've done a lot of, you know, turnkey projects, whereas our competitors don't. You know, as I say, it's a big thing for us to take ownership of our client, you know, so they can understand we've got a vested interest. We believe in that relationship, in that partnership for us to work with.
Okay. So again, my key interest in history again, but if we wind back the clock again and we talk about metallurgy, I mean, what's changed? What's changed in the last 65 years? What's changed from the beginning? And where is your organization going in terms of specific developments for applications?
Well, you see, one of the factors, you know, product material has changed. You know, from when it was first originally cast, you know, to where we are now. Let's take an example. You know, there's a project work in Cape Town, and there's a product on the market. Our holding company, you know, WPR Limited, which is Worthington Pumps India Limited,
right? And
they actually we've supplied the project in Cape Town, the Super Duplex now, which is a stainless steel, but it's a Super Duplex product, and it's grade 5A on the Super Duplex. Now the client in Cape Town actually had difficulties, had problems with their requirements, because what actually happened, the systems wasn't working. Now the pump systems were lasting 4 months because of the seawater, and obviously the aggression of the water. You know, it was actually, you know, creating corrosion in the pump set, and the pumps were lasting 4 months. So we supplied to the client the Super Duplex pump. So this is what we supplied, and those pumps they've been running now for over 2 years, because the materials changed, and we've provided the right product for the right requirements to suit the client's requirements. Then from that, because the client, you know, we've then received repeated order, which is great for the company, because that tells us we're doing it right. We know what we're doing. So sorry, you know, so it shows us, you know, from what you were saying, where we were to where we are and where we're going to be. You know, we've got the principles in place. You know, we've got the structure in place. You know, we've got the technology. We utilise the technology. So obviously we use it to our advantage, how we can help the client and to go forward. So that the technology will always improve. We'll always look to new technology, you know, for us to go forward.
Absolutely, and it strongly suggests that design engineers should keep up to date with material changes. And a case in point being this Western Cape example, where clearly pumps lasting for that shorter time frame were costing a significant amount.
Well, absolutely. You know, absolutely. You know, it's the clients. What you've got to look at, it's the clients. It's their cost. You know, we're there to support. You know, to help. To come with a solution. You know, problems don't go away. You know, they need to be addressed. And obviously, you know, by going with a Super Duplex to the clients in Cape Town, that was a solution to their problem. You know, and it's enhanced. Now, obviously, you know, it's supported them, and also as well, you know, it's enhanced us as who we are as a company, because you know, we do want to do it right. We follow quality procedures. We've got the quality procedures in place. You know, with our quality inspections, our quality control departments. You know, we're registered with SABS. 2001 going, and we've been approved for 2015. That's been certified. We're in the process. So it's a major factor, knowing that that the government authorities, you know, appreciate the standard and the quality of our workmanship, what we put in, and that's why we received the certification from, you know, from the technical bodies of government.
Great.
You know.
So Richard, could you give us a breakdown of the key pump categories and also link them to specific industries?
Well, what you've got you've got multi-stage pumps. Now those are for your high flows, high heads. So you know, for your high pressure. Now we installed the multi-stage pumps in Walker's Ferry and Chileka for Blantyre Waterboard. And we were pumping up at 48 bar. You know, so you know, pumping up at 500 and 520 520 metres on the heads. Now these are associated for your mine dewatering pumps, for your mines, you know. So obviously those go into the mining authorities,
Yes.
mining institutions, you know. Then you've got the split case pumps.
Okay.
Those go to your water authorities.
All right.
You know, those now with the split case, it's basically the top assembly comes off.
Okay.
And then what happens is it reduces maintenance and it reduces downtime for the client.
Okay.
So you know, what we do as well as a company, one of our major aspects is what we do for the client. We keep, you know, a spare set of parts.
Okay.
For the client, you know, the impellers, you know, a rotating assembly. And what we do, you know, we then supply that to them. So what happens is, you know, they take the top casing off, it's then repaired, and then the system's back operational. So it reduces the downtime.
Okay.
So they're providing, so your water authorities, they're on demand to provide to the client.
Okay.
You know, so when the individual opens the tap, you know, the product's flowing. The individual opening the tap, he's not interested in the process.
No.
He just wants the product that
Yes.
he's paying for
Right.
from the utilities, you know. So this is one of the major factors,
Okay.
what we look, you know.
Okay, so it's not a case of I want a multi-stage or split casing. Clearly there's the right product for the right application.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Or you know, also as well, you know, a lot of Mather and Platt pumps, you know, are into the chemical plants.
Okay.
You know, so it goes to the requirements. The same as with APE pumps
Yes.
as well. You know, going into all the power stations.
Right.
You know, the chemical plants, the same as well, the mining institutions, the water authorities. So it goes to the requirements. Also as well, you know, we're probably one of the country's top supplier for vertical turbine pumps.
Okay.
Now those basically go from we installed those at in Walker's Ferry at the raw water intake.
Okay.
So obviously we were receiving the raw water, and then we then received it, and then we then pumped that via the vertical turbines. We then sent that to the water treatment plant
Okay.
to go through the process.
All right.
So it all depends on the client's requirements.
Yes.
What do they want to do?
Of
You know,
course.
the split case pump. You know, that pumps higher volumes at lower pressure, whereas the multi-stage pumps higher pressure but just at lower volumes. So
Right.
it goes to the client's requirements.
Okay.
You know, and we're active, you know, as a company, obviously in South Africa, you know, in Malawi, you know, in Botswana, into Zambia,
Yes.
you know, and, you know, going into the DRC, you know, we've got divisions of a company group, you know, in a holding company in Calcutta,
Right.
in Delhi, you know,
Okay.
divisions with new acquisition with Gruppo Retoria from
Okay.
Italy.
Okay.
So with the complete package, but one of the major factors as well is because of the developments in Zambia, you know, with our division in Zambia is actually, you know, supporting the client, you know, and giving direct service to the
Okay.
client in Zambia.
In which
You know, and
sectors
that's up
then?
in Kitwe,
Okay.
and that's up on the Copper Belt.
In the deep level mining side.
In the deep level mining side.
Okay.
So they do a lot of work up there
Right.
on the multi-stage pumps. They do
Right.
a lot of work for the clients
Okay.
there. You know, because obviously mine dewatering is a big problem.
Of course.
You know, and that's where we come in. You know, and also as well, you know, strange enough, we've had inquiries coming in from clients for major projects for dewatering,
Okay.
and they've come into us for what's the best way to do it, because you know it's a complete process, and
Yes.
it's complicated, it's technical. You know, we can't just put a pump down and then just, you know, switch it on. It doesn't work. There's a lot of work that has to go.
Right.
You know, it has to get pumped, it goes into the tailings dams, you know, and then, you know, what happens, you know, they lose a lot of water, you know, through evaporation.
Yes.
So obviously, you know that system's ideal here because of the hot climates, the hot temperatures we live in. So you know that they endure a lot of
Okay.
evaporation, you know.
All right. And what about agriculture? Is that a market?
Yeah, also as well, you know, big in the agriculture for the sprinkler systems, you know, also as well. But that's you know, we've got
Yes, like
products.
pivot irrigation. And
Yeah,
things
all the
like that.
pivots, the pivot
Yes.
irrigation, and
Okay.
all that stuff coming up to
All
their,
right.
you know, to their requirements.
Yes.
You know, so it's there's a lot of products,
All right.
you know, that we
Okay.
You know.
And then the next question I had for you was on the topic of maintenance.
Okay.
And perhaps that also comes into retrofitting now, because could you give us some examples? What's the best approach for maintenance, and what sort of retrofitting possibilities are there out there?
The major factor, you know, when we supply the product, you know, it comes on a maintenance program.
Okay.
Now, you know, obviously, it's the same with everything. You know, you've got to look after your product.
Yes.
And that comes down in every industry. Because if you don't look after your product's going to fail.
Right.
It's going to fail you.
Yes.
So obviously, what we do as a maintenance, you know, for, you know, to the client, you know, we advise, we monitor. So what we do, you know, we put on the systems, you know, like what we've put up in Blantyre for you know the waterboard was wear limit switches on the multi-stage pumps.
Right.
So after a certain period of time, after so many operational hours, the systems, and then it just needs, you know, systems, you know, to be replaced, like the balance weight, you know, the balance valve to be replaced on the pump set. And what happens is, if the client, you know, or whoever, you know, do it, if they don't follow the maintenance systems, what happens is, then you get, you know, major catastrophic damage internally.
Okay. Right.
And because of lack of maintenance.
Right.
So obviously, you know, parts do need changing through wear and tear.
Of course.
You know, because of the conditions the pumps are working in. But that's because our pumps are designed to work in those conditions. You know, so that they have to work, you know, effective and efficiently. So now, obviously, you know, we come up and say, right, you know, let's go to the water authorities, you know. So we'll have, as I said earlier, we'll have, you know, spare parts for the water authority, and we will then put that in, we'll assemble it, and then we'll help, you know, we help, we advise.
Okay.
Because it reduces their downtime.
Of course.
You know, and at the end of the day, if we didn't provide that service to the client, you know, because, you know, then it's going to cost them money. And then they're going to look and go, well, really, we haven't got a vested interest, you know, and they'll go to competitors, which we don't want. You know, we're passionate about our relationships with, you know, with our working partners. You know, it's that's what it is. You know, the people of APE Mother and Platt, you know, here, they're our core business and the principle, because we're taking the company, we're giving it, you know, we're taking it, you know, to give it, enhance our company footprint.
Exactly.
You know, to go into new areas, to take our experience with our clients from what we've done, from when we started to day one to where we are today, to where we're going to be tomorrow. So it's a situation of what we did yesterday, we're working today to improve for tomorrow.
And
you know.
again, I mean, how do these switches work? I mean, and can we expand on condition monitoring?
Yeah, well,
because that's a serious deficiency that's been admitted within utilities. There are skills shortages,
Absolutely.
there's a lack of focus, and unfortunately, critical failures are not that uncommon.
No, absolutely. One of the major factors, you know, understanding, you know, from what you're saying is one of the major factors is maintenance, and unfortunately because of, you know, the current global you know, downturn, you know, of the economy.
Yes.
And that's not alone in South Africa. That's globally.
Yes.
You know, and you know, we're coming over that. It has created problems. And people are, what they're reverting to doing is they're reverting to using pirate parts.
Okay.
Now, this is a major factor because
course.
cheap is expensive.
Of course.
You know, cheap is not cheap. Cheap
Yes.
is expensive.
Right.
But what happens is when the end user, you know, they purchase pirate parts. You know, we've been for 66 years. We've got 500,000 drawings. You know, that product is manufactured specifically designed to that drawing.
Right.
There is no, it goes through the quality process.
Yes.
If it doesn't meet the requirement, it's scrapped. We start it again. We go through the process. That's what we want. But pirate parts, it's not done specifically. And what happens is a lot of individuals, they're doing it because to try and save on cost. But it costs them more because the problem is then they have to go back to the original manufacturer to actually, you know, get genuine manufactured parts. What we're noticing as a company is that a lot of the end users are now coming back to the original manufacturer for spare parts for their products.
Right.
So because of that, it's great for us because it shows what we do is right, it's correct.
Right.
That's why we've got the government certifications. That's why where we are. That's why we pride our history. But also as well being the only company that trains pattern makers. That's a great feather in our cap.
It is.
And it is. It is.
And Richard, what about condition monitoring? I mean, what can you do there?
Well, basically, go back to the wear limit switch. What was installed.
Yes.
What in Blantyre. Well, what happens is because what it does, it monitors the operational performance of the pump, and obviously they're designed, for so many hours. Then the balance valve needs to be replaced.
Does it switch off by itself?
Well, there's various systems. So obviously you can actually have it set where it's actually set. It actually is designed where we've used technology. So what happens is, when it gets down to the 0 pointer, then the system cuts out.
Okay. And,
so
and a maintenance engineer can track it and see...
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
The maintenance engineers, they actually monitor it coming down in stages, to 5 to 4 to 3 to 1 to 0. Right. And then obviously they'll contact and say, right, this is what we need.
Yes.
We send the parts. Now, obviously, and then from that, then they're back up operational instead of ignoring the system. And then what happens is then they get catastrophic damage inside. They damage all the impellers. Then basically you're looking at a new pump.
Okay,
complete new pump.
Inside and out, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all new internal elements, and also as well, depending on the severity, then new castings.
Okay.
So.
Wow. And then, there's so much to cover, and we only have so much time. But what about electric motors? Can we talk about that? I mean, how should you be matching your pumps to your?
Well, actually, no. It's actually, the system goes from, to the client's requirements.
Okay.
And then we then look for the requirements, what we're going to supply.
Right.
And then we've then got the relationships with our motor manufacturers of who's going to supply, to the requirement of the efficiency for the pump.
Right.
So obviously it's going to be to the client's head.
Yes.
What's the flow? What do they need to move? What's the material? Okay. What efficiency do they want to have the pump set? 76, 77, 80, 82% efficiency of the pump set.
Yes.
So then obviously from those requirements, we're then in contact with the motor manufacturer of what we're going to do, of what we're going to supply. So also, we've supplied, as I say, 18, 50, 16, 25 kilowatt motors for the project works in Blantyre.
Right.
And that's big kit.
Okay.
We've supplied mixer pumps. We've combined, going up to 32 tons to the Middle East. Those mixer pumps. The motor was weighing 17 tons. That was the motor. Okay. And the pump. So.
But as I understand it, it does have a direct bearing on the overall design.
Oh, of course it does. But you see, it's the major component is obviously the pump.
Okay, of course.
The pump dictates. Yes, the motor doesn't dictate to the pump. So basically, because it's got to be to the client's requirements. What does the client want? It's like an individual purchase in a car. If you want to, drive around, on freeways, then you're going to buy a high performance car.
Yes.
If you're driving around town, you're not going to. So it goes to the client's requirements, basically.
Okay. So we've been talking about pattern making, but let's talk about the art of pattern making. I mean, where does it begin and end? What are we actually talking about here? I mean, it's wooden models.
Well, what actually happens is, what happens is, with the design, the individuals, we receive the drawings.
I mean, what does the training entail, for example?
It's
how
actually.
long does it last?
Well, it's actually the guys are doing the guys are doing a, I believe it's like a 4-year apprenticeship.
Right. Okay.
It depends in which area they're going to, in what field.
Right.
Okay, but we as a company, we're actively involved in training. With the individuals working here, they're actively involved. We always want to send the guys on training courses. So obviously going to the pattern industry, those guys, it's rigorously governed. you know, by the authorities.
Of course.
You know, and we've got a team that monitor, you know, the progress of the individuals, and it's done strictly, you know, to standards.
Okay.
And the individuals, they need to meet the requirements. They need to put the effort
and
in.
your tolerances run into micro.
Well, actually, thousandths of a mil.
Yes.
You know, so you know this actually, you know, by the statement you've just made, that actually shows you just how specialised it actually is. You know, because if you're out by a thousandth of a mil, you know, you're going to have a reduction of 1% efficiency on the pump. So, you know, going to the pattern maker, they actually start with the drawing. You know, then they build up. They work it together, work the material. You know, with the wood, the resins, they build it up.
Okay.
And then from that, they then get another cast. It then goes into another mould, okay, and then from the mould it then goes to the core box.
Okay.
So it works on the principle of male and female.
Okay.
You know,
Right,
so you get the
course.
opposite of what you've got. You then get the opposite. Then it gets cast.
Okay.
You know, we've got a lot of foundries that supply our castings.
Okay.
You know, because we're not a foundry. We don't specialise in that field.
Of course.
You know. So
But you
we
have to
want
have very clear understanding. Of,
absolutely,
yes.
you know. But luckily, you know, with our inspection team, you know, that go out to the foundries to monitor, and with our quality control team, you know, to monitor the castings when we receive them. You know, when it goes through the process, you know, that we are delivering, you know, a great product that we're proud and passionate to give to the client. That's what we want to do. So with the guys, and you see them working in the pattern shop, and as we said, I'm more than delighted.
Yes, we'll
to
have a
take
stroll
you,
and have a look.
to take you over there, you know. Okay, welcome to the pattern shop, and I'd like to introduce you to our pattern manager, Henny. So Henny, welcome. We'd like you to go into, give us some background, some detail into, we've actually discussed about pattern making previously, but obviously now we need the more specific, the finer details. So if you just give us some basic general technical, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henny.
Okay, first of all, we start off with a drawing, getting the drawing from the drawing office, if it's available. If not available, we need a sample to take the sizes from it. Unfortunately, we didn't have a drawing available, only a sample which has been taken away by now. But we managed to get all sizes and all templates made. And this is what we call a 10 by 12 split casing. We 80% done with it. We're still busy making the core boxes. And after this, it's got to still be mounted on boards for a foundry to be able to use it. Because they need to put a big frame around it, fill it with sand, and then strip the pattern. That's what they do with the top and the bottom. With core boxes, we're still busy with. It's on the other table on that side. And wherever you got a print, that will give you a hole in the sand, a cavity. And that's why you got a core box. So when they make the core, I take that piece of sand and I put it in this cavity which runs along here. So in other words, the water gets sucked in through onto the impeller. Impeller spins it out down the outlets. And this is quite involved. So far, about 2.5 to 3 months up to this stage, and we're looking at spending plus minus another month and a half before it can go to the foundry. This is just one item we're working on. At the moment, we're working on 4 different items. So yeah, it's quite involved, and I think the pattern shop, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only pattern shop in South Africa which is liable to teach apprentices and put them through their trade until they pass their trade test. And we have done so. Last year, November, I pushed through my first apprentice through trade test, and I'm happy.
That's great. How long would it take an apprentice? So when they qualify, you know, during the trade, for them out to be able to work on a piece of work like this, because we can see just how specialised, how skilled it is.
Well, I must say, Joe, my apprentice, was working alongside me on this. Yeah. If one guy had to make this, you're looking at about maybe 6 months.
Okay, but how long will it take the apprentice from when he starts in working you know, when he gets the experience to be able to do something like this? Or, you know,
Well,
would you look at
yeah, he hasn't got the experience to do this by himself as yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would say another 2 years, or maybe a similar one, smaller size.
Okay.
And then after that, he should have the knowledge and the know about how to start and where to start.
Okay, okay.
But,
And this is a basic process of how it's done.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So then obviously this then comes from the foundry. In the
the
casting
foundry.
goes through our quality process, doesn't it?
Go to a machine shop, they machine that up. If they're happy, that's it. But everything gets checked to the layout, first of all. Because once you mess this up, you will not get a casting that's going to work. It won't perform, it won't give you the performance, and it could not machine up if the size-wise. So everything's got to be checked.
So it's
And
critical.
It's critical. It's 100%.
Yeah.
And this is quite small. If you take a larger job, say for instance an impeller that we made, which is 1.2 diameter, and you're out 1 millimeter on this side, by the time you get to the other side, 1.2 millimeters, you're out 5, 7, 8 mils. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
That is
for
why
sure.
it's so
Okay,
critical.
What about some of the other evolving trends? I mean, CAD's been around for many years. You've got this fantastic physical craftsmanship capability. What else is coming through now?
One of the major factors, you know, we were talking earlier about the fourth industrial revolution,
Yes.
and obviously the way we use technology to our advantage, to how we can streamline, you know, our manufacturing process, so we can reduce, you know, the operational time from purchase order received from the client to delivery.
Yes.
So we look at ways we can improve the service to the
Right,
client.
of course.
And one of those factors is, you know, as one of the, you know, we're the leaders in pump innovation, APE Pumps, and what we are, we've actually gone into 3D printing, and we're using the latest technology, what's available, where it actually comes and it's done on a layer basis.
Okay.
So coming from obviously going to the printing industry, where it was a 4-colour process, you know, varnish, you know, that for magazines, brochures.
Of course.
But obviously that industry has advanced
Yes.
using computer systems. They've gone into the printing process with 3D printers, and we've utilised that on how we can come with a design.
Okay.
Now this is an impeller of a vertical turbine
All
pump.
right.
Okay, that's been done in the 3D process.
Okay.
So we can actually look at this, we can view this,
Right.
we can go to the client, changes can be made, because each client has got a different requirement.
Right.
So we can actually do it in this format. So it's a
Okay.
prototype
All right.
for the client.
Okay.
So, you know, obviously then we look at it on the design. This is what it's going to be. We can do that. This one here is this is a discharge casing of a multi-stage high lift pump.
Okay.
These were the systems what we were installed in Blantyre for Blantyre
Right.
Waterboard.
Okay.
So obviously this prototype, you know, this we could have been shown to the client.
Yes.
You know, and also as well, because of that, we can actually do a complete process, and we can show that to the client. You know, so and then
Which is absolutely revolutionary. I mean,
Well,
who
it
else
is.
is doing this at the
well,
moment?
in the pump industry, we're not. We're actually proud,
Okay.
and that's because
Right.
we are the leaders in
Okay.
pump innovation.
Absolutely.
So this is why we've done it.
Okay.
You know, so
So it gives the client, it gives the consulting engineer an absolutely
Yeah.
clear picture.
People can see,
and,
yeah.
and also perhaps even in terms of the footprint of the site.
Well,
Now,
absolutely. You know, we
yes.
as a company, we're trying to enhance our company
Right.
footprint. But obviously, as we
Well,
were
I
talking
meant, sorry,
earlier,
in terms of things like the mechanical rooms, the actual
Yeah.
physical structures that you have experience in building. Clearly, I think we're talking about a situation where with these designs, there's a suggestion that pumps systems are going to become maybe more compact.
well, yes,
as well.
absolutely. Well, the systems are going to
as
change.
powerful or even
Yeah.
more powerful.
Well, and they're going to run
Yes.
faster.
Yes.
You know,
All
but,
right.
but also as well with this process, as I say, it's going to reduce the manufacturing process.
Okay.
you know, so that the client can see, yes, this is what we want to do. It's going
Right.
to go. You know, to go into the future. This is the future.
Okay.
You know, this is the future today.
All right.
You know, but then
Amazing.
also as well, you know, materials are going to change. Materials are going to get stronger. You know, the clients are going to get improved efficiencies. So the client's going to receive the benefits. You know, so coming back from the pattern shop, coming all the way to now where we are here today with a 3D model. Like I say, this is a discharge casing for a multi-stage high lift pump.
Okay.
So with that, it's an added benefit, you know, to the client. They can see it comes in sections, so that the client can see that.
Right.
So by coming in with these prototypes, obviously this is in the early design stage at the moment. You know, this is the line what we're going in as a company. You know, with our design team, our engineering team, the way we're going forward is utilising this technology of 3D printing.
Fantastic.
You know.
So, in closing, it actually looks to me, Richard, as if the next 65 years of evolution is going to be far more rapid than
Well,
the
I think
previous.
I think it is. I think it
Yes.
is. You know, it's. You know, I mean, let's just put on an icon. I mean, there's a famous saying. You know, education is limited.
Yes,
The imagination is unlimited.
absolutely.
And from that, an individual and where you can go, you know, is it's here and it's here today.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
so
thanks so much, Richard,
No
for
problem.
talking to us.
no problem. Thank
This
you.
is
Thank
Alistair
you.
Curry for CPD On Demand.